Betty had no time for self-publishing. She was very busy with her kids and all the other things of life, and so she had discovered that there really wasn't any time in her day in order to get it done, get her book actually out and onto the market. And so she was thinking maybe it was best for her to give it up, but maybe not. And that's one of the reasons why in today's video we are going to discuss the 3 self-publishing practices you should do every day at home. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So this particular client of mine, Betty, she's a mother of 4 kids, and she lives in Wyoming. Her particular genre that she writes in is historical fiction, and she's been working on her very first book. She had finished writing it. In fact, she's a very good, excellent writer. She had, over the years, many people had commented throughout the years of school and things like that her ability to write was outstanding. Her ability to put the stories together was also really great. But the problem was she was having a lack of direction and motivation. And so her time that she might have used during the day would be filled up with other things, not unimportant things, but just other things that was pulling away her ability to actually get this book onto the market. And if she didn't get this self-discipline and such in place, this book was never going to get self-published. So she noticed another year had actually passed and the book was still not yet on the market. She had always wanted to get this book, and not just this book, but a series of books that she had within the historical fiction category out and onto the market. But she was thinking that maybe life was too busy now. She needed to wait until maybe when she had retired. At that point, she would be in a better position to go about getting the books onto the market when she no longer had responsibility with kids and family and all sorts of things in life that keep things busy. So the first thing she tried to do in order to achieve this, because she was not ready to give up, was she decided, okay, fine, I will spend an entire weekend dedicated to self-publishing, where I can get down the writing and I can work formatting and ordering covers and all of the things that are necessary to get that done. And she did use a weekend. It was very productive, but at the same time, she was burning herself out. So after that particular weekend and this try, it simply didn't result in what she was hoping would happen out of the whole thing, which was she was hoping it would give her a drive to get going on the whole self-publishing as opposed to killing the motivation. The second thing she decided to do was maybe if it's too hard to be focused on the most important things, she could do things like chatting on Facebook with other people and other authors who also were working on something similar, or maybe possible readers that she had that she could find groups for those people interested in historical fiction or books that were like the book she was working on, where they gather and then just talk with them. And she spent a lot of hours doing that, even though, well, the whole problem was that she didn't have any time, right? But then maybe she did have the time. And this is one of the little challenges that we find often when we're getting started with these sorts of things, is that we think we have no time for hobbies, no extra time, but then we find ways to use that time. But this was not making any progress for her. So what happened next was she had been watching my YouTube videos, and she had been watching other videos as well, and she came in contact with some fake gurus. And one in particular was trying to say that self-publishing didn't even need to require any effort. And there's a difference between what this particular guru was suggesting and what I suggest. I suggest that you can break it down into simple steps, and through working through these specific steps at a certain rate every single day and making progress, you can definitely get your book onto the market and get it selling. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be really easy, but I'm not saying it doesn't require effort and focus and dedication. And there's aspects of it that we don't really like to do this part of self-publishing, but we like to do other parts of self-publishing. So there were a couple of key things, and these are the 3 big ones that we're focused on that you can do at home that are the key to successful self-publishing versus not so successful. And this was what I was really trying to help Betty with when we sat down during our free discovery session. The first thing was we should be creating content every single day. And for the nonfiction people, that can be the books, that can be your courses, that can be your coaching, your consulting. All of these sorts of things can play together into this particular side of things if you're in the nonfiction. On the fiction side, we should be definitely writing books and creating the content. This is the very things that we're going to sell, the products and services, but specifically products. In this case, it would be the books, and we need to put some time in every single day as we're writing. I know for me, the rate that I found what worked well was 1,000 words a day. Now for you, it might be something different. It might just be a certain amount of time. And that is I'd say at least a third of our time on this one. Then comes the next third of our time. We should build your brand with marketing. So in other words, you may be thinking you're just putting books on the market, but you're actually building a brand. An identity that's sort of around these books. That's why I tell you not to push books in multiple niches, but focus in on whatever you're interested in, and we can keep going for the 3 to 5 years it's going to take to really get traction on your books. And so we're going to want to build a brand with that, and the marketing comes by, we can have content marketing where we're on right here, for example, YouTube, podcast, blogs, and you have your email lists as well. And then at the same time, you're going to have paid ads that we can send using Amazon ads against it. Or possibly, if you're depending upon your value ladder, if you're in the nonfiction area, it could be using Google ads and Facebook, right, to drive traffic to there, which will also cycle through the books and through all of your other offerings. But we're using time every single day on building the marketing portion of our business. That's a third. We're going to use a third of our time focusing on creating content every day. And the final third should be learning something new. We're going to try to learn and expand our skill sets so that we're able to be the best self-publisher business owner as possible. And for me, and that's one of the things that I do, I sell a couple of courses in order specifically to help people who don't know how to format their books or to do the content marketing side, how exactly to go about doing that. You can see that below in the description. The two tools that I really like to use, I think one of them I have not mentioned before, it's Toggle Track, and it will give you the ability to track your time so that you're able, as you're working through your self-publishing, to see that you are in fact using a third of your time on these 3 different areas. If you're not learning anything new, we have a problem. We're talking about listening to podcasts, reading books, watching YouTube videos, for example, but not doing it all the time, only a third of the time. And a third of the time, you're creating new books that you're putting on the market. And that was one of the problems Betsy was having. It was the fact that working through these different 3 categories, she was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some days we did absolutely nothing. We weren't making progress. The second tool, in order to make sure that we have a schedule of things that we're doing, is Todoist. That's the tool that I like to use. I run every single one of my projects through this specific tool. You can find my affiliate link below in the description. Todoist is a wonderful task management system. And I know, look, it's difficult to get using a task management system, but it is probably the most transformational thing for your book business you can do, where you can set up individual tasks and we can mark them off as we get through them, and we can make little checklists so daily they recur. And these are incredibly powerful at holding that focus so that these 3 main areas within our self-publishing business, that we're able to get those things going on a regular basis. So Betsy was really excited because after we'd spoken, she was feeling new motivation and energy to keep things going. And really it came back to just the free discovery session. For so many of my clients, and even if you don't become a paying client in the long distant future or ever, the fact is you should definitely take advantage of this offer. Most of the other people, many of the fake gurus, they charge for everything, and I'm just giving stuff away for free with regards to these coaching sessions. And if you talk to anyone who's gone through one of these sessions, everybody has a positive experience because we're able to look and see where you're at and where you need to get going. So just check it out below in the description and just book a slot. You can find a time that works for you. We do it on Zoom. You can do it with video or without video, no problem. And that was one of the things with Betsy. We used no video because she didn't feel comfortable on video, which is just fine. So there's no need to do that. So it's very casual. You don't have to prepare for it. We're just going to talk through where your business is at and what you can do with your self-publishing, with your books, with your ideas, and where you're going to move forward. Some people haven't even started writing and they'd like to sit down for a session. Perfect. Or you've already got books out and they're not selling. Just fine. So there's lots of different options when it comes to doing a free discovery session. So back to Betsy. So what then happened is that she still didn't find that she had any time, but she decided she was going to invest and use time on using these tools. So Todoist was one of the big ones, setting that up. Here's the things I need to do. Here's the priority of them, trying to get into those 3 different buckets, these 3 different areas we're going to spend our time. And she started working around that and keeping track of the time. In addition, she joined my one-on-one program where we were able to go back and forth on a daily basis, seeing what she had done since the last day. And we were able to hold that accountability a much closer way than you would if you're trying to go it alone, which is a huge mistake. And through a period of time, by focusing on the 3 buckets, using the time that she did have, even if some days it was only 10 minutes, okay, fine, 3 minutes in this area, 3 minutes in that, and 3 minutes in this, as we're moving around and trying to hold the focus so that we can make progress on this. And at the end, she was not only able to get her first book in historical fiction out, but also her second book in the series. And what was crazy was that it wasn't taking any time away from her family, really, because she had just been using this time on other stuff like social media and things like that. And it just had decreased the use of time on those things in order to prioritize the most important things. So when the day started, it didn't just go randomly in directions of wasting time, but really trying to say, look, is this something you really want to do? Is this something you're willing to invest in yourself in? Well, then this is something you're definitely going to need to consider when you're first getting started. But I have a question for you. What practice have you found works best for you when you're trying to get your book self-published? Something you can do at home, or maybe it's something that you're doing every single day or every other day, whatever it might be, that's really helping you make progress in your self-publishing. Let me know below in the comments. I reply to every comment, and check up above me here for another video. I'll see you over there. Thanks.